We are lucky enough to be joined by Peter Rosenberg. You might recognize him from Hot 97, The Michael K. Show, Complex Open Late, and the WWE Network. You truly are the mage one.
I'm truly I'm the overexposed one.
So you've been working a lot recently, huh?
Yeah, I've been working a lot. It's a mixed bag. I feel incredibly blessed and lucky to get to be working, and you're like obligated to focus on that because I'm in a group that's very fortunate. But at the same time, you also have to be very mindful that's not always easy. Just because you're lucky doesn't make it easy to be doing it. It can be intrusive and tiring and all those things, but I'm very fortunate. I've been working a lot.
That's awesome. So before we go into our regular programming, you fulfilled something that I've always dreamt of, even though I don't have nearly the stature. Maybe we can get Skylar at it one day. But how is it playing in the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game? That is so cool.
It was awesome. That was a great experience. It was something I really wanted to happen also. I mean, listen, I didn't get picked for that game because I'm the world's biggest celebrity. Although if you watch the game every year, you'll see I fit right into a category that exists every single year. But, like it ranges from like very big time celebrities to then some people. Like I knew at a certain point, I was like, man, when I watch these games, there's always a few people that I know a lot of people don't know. I could be that guy. And I kind of viewed it that way. And when I started developing a relationship with the NBA, where I was doing, various little things with them, I just let it be known, like, I really want to play in this game one day. Like, I really, really want to play. They hit me up that year in 2017, I guess, and said, we want to have you play. And the whole thing was ridiculous. It was an incredibly cool, you get the full trip down there with your family, and you get all the stuff they give you, the jerseys and the little gifts, and it was really neat. The whole experience was really, really neat. And I got to hit a shot. Once I hit it was capped off by me nailing a jumper. That's it.
I was going to say that video is legendary. I mean, come on, you have to post that every time the All-Star comes around.
I know.
But anyway, moving on. So I hear we're lucky enough that you might be sharing a couple of your essentials today. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you some stuff that I got going on here.
All right, let's see it.
Well, okay, this is gonna be very true to what's going on right now.
Okay.
Obviously, most essential. Can you not be on the wires, dude? You're on the wires.
Is it Bear?
You're gonna make me look like a bad dad. The most essential would be this creature.
And Bear is over right now too, big time.
Yeah, Bear is coming off of his big performance last week. But he's definitely the most essential thing in my life right now. But like, I'll show you. This is interesting. So This is how I'm on the Yes Network every day. It's the setup that I have. This is basically what my TV studio looks like. It's this and that.
Wow, so that's how the magic happens, a home studio.
That's basically what the home studio looks like. And I put, a couple of things in the background of my studio. I did the obligatory move of, you got to get a bookshelf to look smart. So I got the bookshelf to look smart. And of course, on it, I have one of my prized possessions, which would be the title belt signed on this side by Brett.
Two
Peter.
Wow.
Brett Hitman Hart.
We could see it perfectly. Wow.
And then on the other side, I have to Peter. God bless.
No way. I see it already. HBK. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. HBK and Brett signed this to me. So, and I'm someone who, I know it's stuff like that. I'm never getting rid of it anyway. So like I personalize, I don't need it to be generic. I'm not going to sell it. Like I wanted to say my name on it. And so that's up there for things that I really, really love.
Yeah. I mean, that's something you have for the rest of your life. And by having your name on it, it just, like you said, makes it so personal. It's yours. That's amazing. Nobody else could ever replicate that. That's incredible.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then since you're a fashion guy, that's what you do. That's what Grungy Gentleman's all about.
Yep.
Might be in the bag. So this is the Dapper Dan. My Dapper Dan tuxedo is in the closet right here. I guess I won't be able to get that out because it's too zipped up and annoying. But I'll show you my first personalized item that meant the world to me, because the Dapper Dan Tux, you can see on my Instagram, I wore it before. I wore it to Mania, and obviously getting to have that experience was incredibly cool, and building a relationship with him and his daughter and his grandson who designed it. You know, his grandson is awesome, brilliant kid. They actually just wrote him up in the New York Times. He killed it. But the first personalized item I got was a gift from my agent, Dipperstein, and it was the Bobby Heenan style PR jacket.
Did you wear that to SummerSlam?
Yeah, I wore it to SummerSlam, and it's made to the exact specificacations of Heenan's old jacket with the Hollywood Star Walk of Fame, like kind of bootleg Walk of Fame star on the back with my name on it and rhinestones. Oh, but it's just honestly, it's just an All Saints jacket that they had turned into this thing. But I love this thing. Michael K thinks I'm insane for wearing a jacket with my name on the back, but you know, not everyone understands the swag that is needed in wrestling sometimes.
Well, that is absolutely incredible. So I wanted to move on to some of the Q&A. Is that cool?
Of course.
All right. So I figure that, you know, obviously your home base is in New York and you must travel a lot with work, even when they just send you to go places. Is there a favorite place that you visited or even shopped at, whether it be vintage finds for wrestling or just, you know, your casual regular wear, sports? What do you think?
I would say, adding it up, like historically, my favorite place for vintage stuff was always LA. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a little bit more dried up now than it was at the beginning, especially because, you know, the vintage that I'm into is wrestling t-shirts, and that's partially my own fault. It's become out of control, and so there isn't really going to just like, you know, I used to pop in the original version of the store and still.
Sure, familiar, very familiar.
Which is still there, and now is still dope, but it's kind of a different version of the store, different ownership. But the original version, and shout out to my man Dante from Man Still, he's a great dude. But when I used to go there, I would still come up on stuff. Like, I actually wore a shirt yesterday. I'll show it to you. Hold on, I'm going to show you the shirt I wore yesterday. The fact that I came up on this in an actual store now is crazy, because in this era of vintage, you really can't come up on things like this. Like, it just, you know, when vintage goes to a certain place and a certain thing becomes trendy, you can no longer find it. You know, that's just not how things work. But
it's harder to find if they're popular, for sure.
Yeah, and like this item to be found in the store, I mean, is insane. But I found it, and at the time, I thought it was an insane price. I think I paid like $125 or something for it, which at the time I could not believe I was spending that much. Of course, now I've done way stupider than that, because the market has changed so much and the habit's gotten worse. But
oh my God, that's Piper and Hogan. I could see it already.
Yep, the war to settle the score. This is before WrestleMania 1. They had an event on MTV, and this shirt you're talking about.
Can you even go a little higher? Wow. The MTV logo on the bottom. Oh my God.
Now the back of it, it has the MTV and the WWF logo. The back of it.
Oh my God. That is unbelievable.
Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter, Lou Albano. I mean, the MTV logo, the WWF logo. It's this thing, the rock and wrestling connection. I mean, this is the beginning this is the very beginning of the WWF coming into true mainstream popularity. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how many they made of these, but the idea that I was able to find it at a vintage store, like now it's just, you would never find it. And if you did, my guess is this, I probably paid $100 some for it. This is now, it's an XL too. It fits me. Oh no, is this an L? It's an L, not an XL. It's an L. $600 shirt, you know, something like that. This is a heavy hitter. This has become a very heavy hitter shirt. So, but I would say LA. And then record shopping, I record shop everywhere. And I have stores I love in basically in Paris and Vegas, everywhere I've spent any time, I go record shopping. Boston has a couple little places I like. Philly has great places. So, I'm always looking for records.
Awesome. So speaking before what you said about wrestling being a part of popular culture, are we going to potentially see any wrestlers on Complex Open late?
I hope so. That's something that we wanted to do. It's a balance, with their audience, trying to figure out who makes sense for me and who makes sense for the Complex audience, which I believe is younger than my taste,
Do you have any ideas of who would work possibly?
Well, yeah, one that we wanted to have is not going to be possible now because of recent news, but Becky Lynch we thought would have been a good guess, but Becky's pregnant and taking time off. So there are people out there that could fit, that cross over and would make sense. I recently had Steve Austin on my IG Live, but I think Steve Austin could work anywhere.
Of course.
That's Steve Austin.
I saw you had Flair on also, which is incredible.
Yeah, and I think Flair works pretty well wherever. Yeah, so hopefully there'll be some WWE people, but I'm trying to kind of stay out of the booking process and let them handle it and just show up and do the interviews.
Nice. So changing gears slightly, you've been around the music industry for a while, and I'm sure you've been able to go to award shows, whether it's the Grammys, something else, even the ESPYs potentially, and of course you go to the WWE Hall of Fame. So when you're prepping for those big moments, how do you do it?
Listen, up until recently, I really just thought about I got to get a tux. I didn't really put a lot of thought into, I really got to do something crazy. I would think about that more in terms of Summer Jam, which is funny. Every year, Hot 97 Summer Jam, up until this year, where it now probably won't happen. Maybe it'll happen in the fall or something, but up until this year, it's the biggest hip hop concert every year. And, once I became a semi-prominent personality on the station, I felt it was my obligation to be really fly on Summer Jam Sunday.
That makes sense.
Which is funny because no one really cares what the DJs are wearing. Listen, people are there for the concert, but you see so many people, you take so many pictures, you run into so many colleagues, artists, listeners, that everyone tries to put together something dope. But it's the first Sunday of June in New York. So if the weather is nice, you could be looking at 90 degrees.
Yep.
Although this year doesn't feel like that because it's been 50 every day, but you could be looking at 90 degrees. So coming up with an outfit to wear all day, that and then often rain threatens. So it's wait, what should I do here? So I have a tradition of I usually go out and just cop a pair of sneakers the day before, unless I have something crazy in the stash. But because it's an event where your kicks could get beat up, I don't bust out anything crazy rare. I just bust out something super clean, So for me, it's not about wearing the most rare thing I have in my collection. It's about what Air Maxes just got re-released and I can just get a super fresh, clean pair of kicks. And then where I try to make an impact is a jersey or shirt that's recognizable. So I've had different years where 1 year I was doing my deal with Mitchell and Ness. I think I wore 2 jerseys. I think I switched jerseys during the middle of the day. In the first half of the day, I wore a Bo Jackson White Sox authentic jersey. And then when it got later, I changed into the Nuggets rainbow color Mutombo jersey. The year Muhammad Ali had passed, which was I think 3 years ago, I've been sitting on this random old Adidas jacket that says Muhammad Ali on the back that I just had in my closet for years that I'd never seen. My brother had gotten it from a friend who was a stylist, and it was something that they were going to have Turtle wear on Entourage that didn't get used, and I just got it. And so I wore that 1 year because Ali had just passed away and I wanted to pay tribute. So I always try to come up with something that if they show me up on the big, invariably I'll end up on the screen for a few seconds. Can it grab people's attention? They're like, oh, okay, because it's a big crowd.
Yeah, it seems like, you're paying homage, but you're also kind of staying clean at the same time. So it's almost like you're paying homage, but you also look professional enough and clean enough to be presentable in any situation, which is awesome.
That's right. Yeah, because listen, I've had tons of failures. I mean, if you were to, unfortunately, my imprint on YouTube is such. There are so many videos of me because we're on every day that there are just absolutely countless videos of me looking like trash. I mean, outfits like this, just a plain t-shirt, but like not even as well put together. Like everyone expects you can just wear a t-shirt at home right now, but like I would be in the studio rocking a terrible shirt, haircut a mess, beard a mess, because like, it took me a really long time to accept that like my job isn't being just an invisible voice. And like now your job is to be on camera. A really long time to accept that. I always was just like, no, my job is to be entertaining. So I'm not worrying about what I wear. And I'm somewhat regretful about how long it took me to kind of figure it out. But I've gotten there now. And, I as of this year, really, I try to put a lot into, everything I wear. Although, listen, this past week I did a WWE event and I've lost a lot of weight recently. And obviously this isn't a time to get my suits changed. I have not wanted people rubbing up on me, measuring me for a suit. So I definitely wore a suit last week that was entirely too big for me to be wearing. But hey, you do the best you can.
Yeah, and once everything gets lifted, a tailor will fix that. So congratulations on your weight loss. So I'm staring at something right now that's going to be pretty the opposite of where I'm going. So I'm staring at your jukebox, which is unbelievable. So it's a two-part question. I would love to know how you choose your music to what put it on and like how you cycle through that. And then on top of that, because this is more of a new age question, do you have a favorite iPhone or iPad app, whether it's something to to work with your schedule and your crazy life, or is it, something even just for music? I'll give you the floor.
The jukebox. Yeah, I started with a baseline of stuff I really wanted to put in there, including some things that I'd always had in mind, like, oh, one day I'm going to get a jukebox and put this in there. And then having it as time goes on, you realize like certain things sound better than other things in it.
Okay.
Like music that was meant to be played on jukeboxes sounds better than like modern represses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just like, it's a combination of stuff that represents me, that is diverse, that is cool to play when you have people over, that other people want to play when they come over. It's because, listen, you don't buy something that's this much of a novelty and not think about how other people are going to respond to it. It's the most interesting thing in my home besides Bear. So, you want people to be able to play around with it and be like, oh, I see this. So like, I have a little novelty I have about it is that like all the labels, it's funny you mentioned apps.
Mm-hmm.
People always ask how I get the labels done. There's an app.
Oh, really?
Someone made an iPhone app for getting your labels printed.
Are we allowed to know the name, or is this a secret?
I think it's called My Vinyl or something.
Cool.
And because I guess they know people who need it, they charge $19.99 for the app.
For a month or all one-time shop?
No, forever. One-time pay, $20.
It's worth it. Then it's worth it.
Because they know if you want to have an easy way to do this,
you need it.
You need this because it has the format exactly like you want for a jukebox.
It's amazing.
And so then you can export it as a PDF. So like you make the labels you want, you export it as a PDF, you go to Kinko's and you get like the slightly better card stock, and you print it there, and then I come cut them. And they're all the same way. And this is just like a little cute thing that I love, though, except all my Prince records in there are 3, everything's in purple. So, like, the whole thing is blue and white, but then the Prince records are in purple. So, like, just little cute things to make it sort of your own. But, like, this is for nerds. I mean, it's my favorite item. It's the coolest thing I ever bought. I love it. The other app that I would say is very useful, and I talked about losing weight. that Weight Watchers app, man, like they're not paying me, so I really shouldn't be plugging them, but it's phenomenal. I know there are other ones that are similar. So I'm sure there are other weight loss programs you can get that have apps that are helpful, but to be able to like keep track of what you're eating.
Yeah, it's accountability.
It's accountability, and to be able to be like, oh, what's this item? Let me scan it. And it tells you how many points just from scanning it.
That's awesome.
It's the reason I think I've been able to have some success.
That's awesome. So I wanted to ask you, going back to what we were talking about, Summer Jam. Obviously, one thing I know about you before you got the job at Hot 97, even still, hip hop is in your blood, So was there ever a moment at Summer Jam where you were like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. I'm here. This is insane. Like, what was your favorite Summer Jam moment? I'm sure you get asked that a lot, but I would love to hear it.
Oh man. Summer Jam I had so many experiences like that. That maybe more than any other place, Summer Jam was just a constant pinch me for the first, 4 or 5 years, where I was just like being backstage and seeing the people I saw, and then as the years went on, those people knowing who I was when they saw me instead of me introducing myself. I mean, if you go back on YouTube and look, there's a video, if you type in Peter Rosenberg Summer Jam 2007.
Okay.
That is my first day of work at Hot 97. I hadn't done one radio show.
Oh, and it was on Summer Jam?
Yes. Before I ever did a radio show, they sent me to cover it. Like, it's been such a dream for me. Like, radio right now may not mean exactly what it meant when I started, and although we still reach a shocking number of people, and it's great to me. But in terms of, I think, younger people understanding like the dream to be at a radio station, Hot 97 being the only true national brand of a hip hop radio station. I mean, KMEL has some sort of gravitas in that way. Power 106 in LA has some gravitas in that way. But like, we all know, if you're into hip hop, whether you're from New York or not, Hot 97 is the most famous hip hop radio station of all time.
100%.
It's not even, there's not even an argument to be had for something else.
It's a soundtrack to my childhood. It's 100%.
So for me, having this day, I find out I have this job where they're going to give me a Sunday night show. I can't believe that. But to think that it's going to start, with me showing up, and I'm going to meet up with, they said you're going to meet up with the cameraman, and, they'll give you a mic. And so I had to just show up to MetLife Stadium and go to like the VIP and just like be like, yeah, I'm like, my name's on the thing. Now keep in mind, at this point, I may have had backstage at like 1 or 2 shows before, maybe a handful of shows at like, in DC at the 930 Club, where like I was doing an interview and they got me a backstage pass. So like being backstage was still like really crazy for me, period, and exciting. As I think it should be for anyone who's getting into that business. It should be a big deal. And to show up at MetLife Stadium and they're like, here's your backstage pass, and you go back there, and I just looked for like who I was supposed to find, and I'm like, and then I'm like, I meet my, I think it was my boy Quiz who shot me my first day. I think it was Danae. He comes up to me and is like, oh, hey, I'm going to be shooting you today. Here's your mic. And I have the mic with the Hot 97 mic flag. And it's like, so this is me now? Like, so like, if you watch that video clip, I'm interviewing Miss Info. I'm interviewing Angie Martinez, and I'm interviewing them as their new coworker, like my first day. That was the beginning of it, and it never stopped. I just got to see, madness, from Drake to Wayne and Nicki and their whole era, to Kanye and Swizz having their battle on stage, to, the death of auto-tune moment where I was like standing right next to the stage when Jay-Z did Death of Auto-Tune and T-Pain walked up next to him. And, listen, it's the modern era of Summer Jam moments. Obviously I wasn't there for Michael Jackson and the Summer Jam screen and all the Jay-Z stuff, but it was endless. And, I try to remind myself, because now Summer Jam, after 12 of them, is like okay, it's a long day of work where you got to mingle all day, and you know, I try not to worry as much about getting the screen time and the stage time. Like for me, I used to host the whole festival stage. Now I barely even walk on the festival stage. It used to be mine. Like every big act on festival stage, I introduced because they were the artists that I was playing and breaking. And now I've been doing mornings for so long. What kind of guy would I be to not only be the morning show host, but also hog the stage at, the festival stage at Summer Jam? You gotta kind of move on and share and be like, I've already had enough. But sorry, that was an incredibly long-winded answer too.
No, you're putting other people over. I think that's amazing.
It's just been a long run of dreamy moments at Summer Jam, that's for sure.
So I have two questions before we're going to move over to our rapid fire part, and that will be the conclusion. So, you were talking about Hot 97 being the elite. Do other radio stations or even other personalities, are they a little jealous? Like, are you guys friendly with other radio stations? How does that work? Like, if you saw a Charlemagne, I don't know, because maybe you're both in New York, do you dap him up, or is it just kind of keep it moving thing?
Well, he's a weird example because we don't have a good relationship. So, although we have talked in person, not in many, many years, and I'm not a fan, but other people, it could be weird with Power. It can be a little bit weird with the local competitor. Yeah, like there's not a lot of, like there are some people that I'm cool with, and it doesn't matter, a couple of people who are there. But for the most part, you wouldn't have a lot of interaction. I don't know how people view it. Listen, I'll be honest, like I have a lot of respect for other people in the radio industry, and I have a lot of friendships with people in the radio industry. At the end of the day, though, we're all competitive. We all got into it to be successful. We all got into it to live out our dreams. And I've now been doing 13 years at the place I dreamed of being. And to me, when the book is written, there'll be no station as important as Hot 97. And, I know Hot's had its flaws, it's had its ups and downs, but if you overall look at the big picture and the number of moments and how much those moments were about music, not about drama, not about gossip. Those moments exist there too. But I'm talking about the music moments that exist there.
I mean, when I was growing up, that's how that they broke all the songs. That's how I found out about the hottest, tracks. So I completely agree with you.
And the Flex freestyles and the Angie interviews and the Summer Jam moments. And, I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a few, but not most of them. To me, I will always have like probably a little attitude of when I meet people who work in hip hop radio. I'm like, I respect you as a human being and your work level, but the station, I'll always think like, oh, your station's cute. I'm on Hot 97. I do have that. And I think everyone should have that about the place that they dreamed of being and working.
Yeah, you're very lucky for that for sure. So last hip hop question before we move on to the style rapid fire portion of this. So a lot of fans and artists complain that sort of there's not much unity between the New York artists right now. Do you see that as an issue? And if you do, how could we fix that, being that, you guys are the pinnacle of New York hip hop?
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's been some stuff between some of the young artists.
Yeah, everyone's claiming to be the king, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think there's things we could have done and we could maybe do more of to take a leadership role. But at the same time, for the kids who matter, like for the kids who are really into it, are they looking to us for that? I mean, like it's become a real youth SoundCloud driven culture before it makes it to a Hot 97. So we're kind of the next level up. And I think those conversations and where those issues begin in the street and on the internet and whatever BS places it happens, I don't know that they're looking to, the very mainstream sort of establishment hip hop radio station that we are, to be the ones who can solve those things. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't try, and we have, by the way. I mean, I want to be really clear. We have we have been very vocal about some of the things that we deem to be really whack that have been going on. But we can only impact it so much, man. We're mostly talking to adults. You know, our audience in the morning show, we end up concerned with people who are over 18 years old. And they frankly skew older than that, more like 30.
I mean,
So, you know, while I think we can have an impact, and we should do our best, and I think we try our hardest, ultimately, for better or for worse, it's going to be up to people to figure it out and make the right choices on their own.
completely agree. All right. So moving on to the style portion, I want people to learn a little bit more about you. So do you have a dream watch that you've ever wanted, whether it be to pair with your vintage tees or anything like that, or maybe you have one?
I do not have a watch. The only watch I'm going to get that I have any plans to get is, you know, a basic Rolex Presidential. That's
Okay.
all I want.
Nothing basic about that, actually. I mean, that's clean.
I just want the, you know, the Presidential with the fucking, with the day on it. That's really all I ever wanted was the day, you know, that's it.
You want the day, and so there's a day date and then a day just. The day just has just a number.
No.
You want the day and
I
the
want
date.
the day date.
So, do you want a gold one, or do you want platinum?
So I think I might go white gold,
Okay.
which I believe they have for a presidential. I think you can get a white gold presidential.
Okay.
Or I don't like, in some ways the gold is hot. In another way, it's tough to pull off. You know, like if you get it's either really flashy or I become really old Jewish guy wearing a fancy watch.
Well, if you do it, you have to debut it with an interview with Ric Flair, because that would be legendary. Oh my God.
Well, you know, so him and I went watch shopping together for a complex.
What?
Yeah, it's on. If you go YouTube it right now, Ric Flair, Peter Rosenberg watches. We went watch shopping, but I didn't get anything. I didn't pull the trigger. There was we went and saw my man, Mr. Flawless, and there was just, when I put them on, I was like, this is cool, but I cannot, and I was looking at used stuff, which made Flair sick, by the way, nauseous. He was disgusted at the idea that I was looking at an older watch.
I mean, wait, he didn't like vintage watches? I'm obsessed with vintage watches.
No, that's not how Ric Flair does it. You go out and you get your brand new watch.
Okay.
That's what he wants. But, you know, at the time, none of them felt like, I was like, these are tight. I'm not dropping 10 grand on this. It just didn't feel like, I do take making expenditures that big really seriously, you know? So like one day when I score some job that's like monstrous and my salary goes up so much where I'm like, I can drop $25,000 on a brand new presidential and not even worry about it. I deserve it. Do it. It'll happen. But I'm waiting for, I think I'm close. I'm close-ish.
Nice. Well, shout out to Greg Una. He got me the watch I have on right now, and also my engagement ring for my fiance. So.
There you go. Yeah, he does a great job. Shouts to Greg.
Yep. So I know we both live in New York, but do you have a dream car? Because to be honest with you, I think because I don't have cars, or it's harder to have a car here, I want one that much more. Now, I'm a vintage car guy, so I'm interested to know if you're a vintage car, modern car guy, and if you have something that you've been looking at.
So I'm not a big car guy, period.
Okay.
The cars, you know, that I would fantasize about, like, again, I have just too much money and I want to get one fun car just to have. To me, it's probably the Back to the Future DeLorean. It's probably either an 83, 84, 85. I think there was only 3 years or maybe 4 years of them. The DeLorean, I think, would be so fun to have. Like, I just think it would be a pain in the ass. Like, that's the thing. They're not a realistic car to have. Like, from a getting it fixed standpoint and a part standpoint, it's not ideal. They weigh like a gazillion pounds, but that's a car I've always looked at that I would love to get. And if I was to get a sort of a more basic retro car, and I can't even remember which one it is right now. Maybe you'll know because you're into them. The one that Denzel's driving in Training Day.
Oh, I got to look that up. I haven't have the DVD of that. So
it's just a classic big American. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. But That to me. What about you? What's your
Oh man.
fantasy?
Well, first off, the DeLorean is funny that you mentioned that because Brian Greenberg had the same exact answer as you did. Man, for vintage cars, I'm obsessed with 1960s Benzes. I love Porsches. And then I also even love like Jaguar Aston Martins. It's very James Bondish, which is one of my favorite movies. So yeah, that's definitely my answer. In fact, the episode I had with you that we're talking about right now for my intro, I definitely talk a lot about vintage cars that I love, and of course, Ferrari is another brand that I love as well.
And by the way, the Denzel car is a '79 Monte Carlo.
Oof, nice. Nice.
So that would be. I love that car. I think it looks so badass. But yeah, I've never been I'm simple, man. Like if I have a great stereo, I
Mhm.
basically enjoy driving a car. You know, I recently, up until right before the pandemic, I had been driving. I didn't have a car for a year or so, and then I wanted to get something basic to just drive around for a while. And I for some reason was like, I haven't driven stick in forever, so I got an old BMW, a 328
Oh, dope.
stick shift 2011, just something to drive around. And it was fun driving stick. And then after like 9 months, I was
Incredible.
like, I need the features. I really need a Bluetooth that works cleanly. Like none of like the difference between a 2011 and a 2020 is significant. So now I currently have just a 2020 330i, just like a very basic, nice BMW, which for me, you know, is probably as fancy as I'm capable of going. I'm like, I think you get to a point where like I just get self-conscious going too far beyond that.
Well, I think that's an awesome car. So, all right, I have two more questions for you. One is in the Hot 97 office, I am sure there has been so many like cool sneakers that have come through, whether it's for you or someone else on your team. What has been like the coolest grail type of collab or even just product that you were like, I need that, or hopefully that's for me?
Man, that's a really good question and hard to think of the different things that have sort of the promotional items that have popped up over the years, some that I have, some that I've given away or missed out on.
I saw that
My,
Agassi sneaker that you posted was pretty cool last night.
yeah, that's a dope. That's a regular. That was like they released that at some point like a few years ago.
Mhm.
The craziest. It's funny you say that. The craziest thing I've ever been gifted because of my profession,
Mhm.
essentially, is also my biggest grail sneaker. The M&M fours.
Whoa, dope. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the M&M Carhartt fours.
Nobody has them, but I definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That
that was the one. You know, that was the one gift that I was like, wow, this is incredibly cool to be. Two of my favorite things ever were gifted to me both by Paul Rosenberg. The M&M fours
mhm.
and when he just left when he was president of Def Jam, the Def Jam Kith jacket, personalized,
Sure.
because they did a very limited number. Ronnie was telling me that Kith only made of the burgundy Def Jam Kith jackets. I think they made like 100 or 150.
Nice. So
Period.
definitely you
You
have.
know, and fucking like LeBron got one, like crazy people got them, and so to get that one again personalized, though I feel like a douche when I wear it with my name on it, but I love that too. So those things mean a lot. The Def Jam jacket really means a lot. Like being a hip hop geek, having a personalized Def Jam jacket is really cool. And you'd be shocked the amount of people who like really aren't up to date, don't even recognize me at all, and are just like, cool jacket on the street. Like that Def Jam logo still means a lot to people. It's cool.
Very powerful, and so is your answer. So I have to sneak in one more question before I ask your last question based off what you just said. So who do you think has the best style in hip hop and in wrestling? Because I've never heard anyone mention the wrestling portion. So I'm interested to hear what you think.
Best style in hip hop. Um, there are a lot of people who really put it together pretty well. I generally, not always, generally love Pharrell, style wise. He has his moments where he goes a little too fashion forward for me.
Hmm.
Maybe where like you're going straight up capris with your suit, like, that kind of like a little one notch further than I might, a little less traditional than I would want to go. But I think generally, like color scheme wise and not being over the top, like I really mess with Pharrell. I love what he's done with sneakers too. So I would put Pharrell in that conversation. I like Rocky's style a lot too. Um,
Very unique.
he pulls off a lot. Like Rocky can go really forward, or
Hmm.
he can just go like vintage tee. He's so I enjoy those guys.
He owns
Obviously,
what he wears. Like he owns it.
yeah. Wrestling. Do you mean like their ring attire or what they
Ooh, you
like?
know what? I didn't even think about that. You can answer either or both.
In terms of how they dress in real life, honestly, Miz always looks great. The Miz in real life is always put together great. Like the suits that he wears on TV are generally solid, but just what he wears showing up to the building, like the Miz really treats himself like an athlete. Like he generally always just looks great. Um, Flair, obviously, you look all time. You got to talk Ric Flair. In terms of ring attire, like their outfits are just fire. Um, Hard to say. I mean, there are people like, for example, I love Brett's color scheme. Like, I think pink and black is fire. Like, and I think what's amazing about it is somehow he took this look, the Heart Foundation look of pink and black. It's the only thing you think of when you see pink and black. Like, everyone has their color schemes you associate with certain things, right? Like in certain teams.
I mean, I'm definitely guilty of dressing up as Brett for Halloween when I was younger, so I totally agree.
Pink and black. Brett's the only pink and black. Like that. So I
You know,
really.
it's funny though. There's so many wrestlers who have made certain items iconic, like the jean shorts and vest from Stone Cold. I mean, HBK's look was just very iconic rocker type of thing, right? So it's funny how a lot of wrestlers have sort of made their own lane. Ric Flair with the watches, and Brett with the glasses. I mean, and so on and so forth. So they definitely own their style as well.
Yeah, and then there are some that are just horrible. Like they had no style. Like they were just like The Rock did not have great style when he was in his heyday. I mean, a lot of pleated pants, big shirts. It worked for him, but in retrospect, it's like it was okay. Um, Austin Austin somehow basically makes no style work.
I agree.
Like Austin has no style. He wears like kind of bad jeans and t-shirts,
But he's
and
just so
yet
badass that it
he's
works.
so badass that it works. Like
Yep.
the man would be wearing 2 huge knee braces, jeans shorts, and a t-shirt and look badass. He's amazing.
All right, so we're moving forward to my last and the question I've been wanting to ask the most. So, what is your favorite thing about Complex Open Late, the Michael K Show, working for WWE? And I guess you already answered Hot 97 a little bit, but maybe you could throw in one last tidbit. But I just wanted to know, like, what is your favorite, just thing about it? Is it waking up in the morning? Is it, the people you get to meet? Just would love to hear your answer.
My favorite thing about Open Late is that it's mine. It's the only show I have that's mine. Um, I play. I'm a team player. I'm a role player essentially on my 2 shows. And granted, they're very valuable roles, and I'm very grateful for those roles. But I'm the 2 guard on both of those of those shows. So it's fun running point on Open Late, and it's also a pain in the ass, but this version of it is actually what's nice about doing the IG Live version of it is there's so much less to worry about. Like you just got to show up and do what you do. And I'm a good interviewer, so I'm a good time. So I can sit and have a good time with someone to make it work. So I enjoyed that, and we got to have great people on Open Late, and on Open Late, I got to have a segment where I walked bear with people. That was amazing, called Bear With Me, and you know, walking with Bear with Royce the 5'9" freestyling with Bear the dog was amazing. Like I got to do Currency freestyling with Bear. Like it was awesome. He's dead asleep over there right now. That would be Open Late. Hot. My favorite thing is probably, having a voice in New York hip hop is just meaningful. It's
I
really.
hop in there on that point. So, I don't know if you know this, but you've done so much for hip hop, so much that I don't think people even know. So I want to quickly educate people. Man, this had to be like 8 years ago, and I'm sorry if I'm using a wrong artist. You can just correct me quickly. But I remember you did a concert. It was Raekwon. Was it Rakim or something like that? It was Raekwon. I styled him. It was presented by you. I actually have pictures of us in backstage with Raekwon and everything, with the chef. So I got to share that with you. But there has just been so many moments that I feel like you've touched upon that's even outside of just the airwaves. Do you remember what I'm talking about, or am I just
That was my first Peter Palooza.
Okay.
It wasn't even called Peter Palooza yet. I called it that starting the next year. The first year it was called, I think, it was a terrible name. It was like a night of real hip hop with Peter Rosenberg or something, and it was Raekwon.
Did he bring out Jizza or not?
He brought out Ghostface.
Ghostface. Yep.
Asher was on that show. Asher Roth was on that show. I think Nitty Scott was on that show, and someone else. But I had 4 or 5 of those. I've had Odd Future a couple times. Had Meek Mill, Rocky, Ferg, Bronson, Q, Absol. Thank you. I was very fortunate to do that. That's another just bonus part of my life, was getting to put on these shows. Although they were also very challenging and stressful, they turned out to be fantastic. Really, really great moments in my life. I would say hot. It's a mix of getting to have the voice in New York, that in the morning, it's just impactful, and also just the camaraderie with my friends. Just working with family is amazing, because they've become family at this point. The K Show, the camaraderie.
Which is the #1 sports radio show in New York for anyone who doesn't
Yeah.
know what we're talking about.
Yeah, in the last year, we've been just the #1 afternoon show, period. It's been really cool. But yeah, that's the camaraderie too. It's just working with people you enjoy working with and having fun. We laugh. Like we legit laugh throughout that show all day. Like it's not work, and WWE, it's just getting to be a part of this thing. I think all of us who love wrestling, if you really love it, there's a part of you that wants to be part of it.
Of course.
It's just, it's just a part. We all just have a part of us. They're like, I want to be in that world, because it's its own world. The WWE universe, it's its own entire thing.
Powerful.
So to get to jump inside of it, it's like I live outside of it, but then it's like I get to go play inside, and the wrestlers come up and like talk trash to me, and like I get to be part of this actual world. Here and there is that to me.
We're getting to meet guys like Otis, and they're living the gimmick. It's just surreal, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just getting to have those moments where you're part of it, and that was always what I dreamed about. Was just getting to be part of it and play some sort of role in it. And I've had a few moments that have been cool and notable, and at least notable for me. And so it's been really fun. It's always fun.
All right, so let's end it on this note, very short and quick. WrestleMania, LA. What is one thing you want to see? Well, people in the stands is one, I'm sure, but
yeah, I'd love to see people there. That would be great. I'd love to see it actually happen. I'm
not gonna lie, Skylar came up with one that was pretty decent with Tyson Holyfield, especially with what's going on with Tyson's resurgence, which is unbelievable. He is an absolute animal.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. Although I would have mixed feelings about having a real fight on the thing. It would. I'm such a.
I was making it like more of a if it could be somehow
like wrestling.
Yeah.
The main event. Probably Cena's last match. You know, something crazy, like something we don't expect. You know, I don't know what exactly that would look like, who that person is out there. That would just make you go, no way.
Is there as much of a demand for CM Punk being that he's on Fox all the time now and stuff like that? Or do you think?
I think that would still be very, very cool.
Mhm.
A Punk Cena rematch would be great. Punk Daniel Bryan would be great.
What about if they did a Boneyard type style match and did Sting Taker finally?
I would be super into. I mean, again, it would remove the location mattering, but I would love it. Love it. It'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. I appreciate it. And
Dude, thanks. Good questions, man. I appreciate the time.
of course, and congratulations with Complex Open Late. And if you want to see more about Peter, check out pretty much everywhere. You can find him WWE Network, The Michael K Show, Hot 97, and as we just said, Complex is open late, and his podcast, which is amazing, which is what I listen to all the time, Cheap Heat. So, Peter, thank you so much.
All right, dude. Take care, guys.
See you later. What's going on, JR?
Not much. Chilling, man. What's going on?
I'm excited to talk to you today. That's without a doubt.
Man, I'm chilling, man. I can't complain. I'm excited as well. How you been?
I've been doing great. How's everything with you and your family?
Everybody's good, man. Everybody's good. How about you?
Yes, so far so good. That's what's most important. But moving past that, and hopefully this will lead to a nice, healthy distraction for everybody. You know, I know a couple things because I've been able to attend some runway shows with you, and that you have an incredible sense of style. And on top of that, you're actually a lot more knowledgeable about the industry than most people realize. So I'm excited for you to drop some gems. And is it cool if I ask a couple questions right off the bat?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So out of all the teammates you've had, and this can range from high school, college, the league, everything, who has the best shoe game and who has the best style game? And hopefully there'll be separate answers.
They're definitely gonna be separate answers because Braun has the best shoe game.
Okay.
For sure. It's like cheating. But, style, just off a natural style, I would say. I think K-Love. K-Love has has a dope style. It's pretty natural. It's pretty. He can trend in different lanes, and he pulls it off pretty well with all of them. So I think K-Love probably has the best natural, just given style.
That's a great answer. Actually, I was asked who I thought had the best style in the league, and I said Chris Paul, Kevin Love, LeBron, and Shai. And the reason why Kevin, like you said, has styles great is because he can go from streetwear to Ralph Lauren pretty effortlessly.
For sure. You know what's great too? Surprisingly, it's going to surprise a lot of people, but Kyle Korver, bro. Kyle Korver has style, dude. It's so slick with it, bro. Like his game outfits and all of that, and like when he gets dressed up and like okay, like you look at him like, damn, okay, Kyle. Like you would never put it together like Kyle Korver would like think of certain different socks and shoes.
Does he do streetwear or is he more a suit and tie guy?
No, he does streetwear too. But it's still like it's like a I would say more of like a clean streetwear look. You know, some streetwear looks is more like a rough and rugged type style. But it can look like that, but he always is clean with it. So it's pretty dope.
Awesome. So you've had amazing moments in the tunnel walking into games. Is there a favorite fit that you've ever been like, oh man, I just crushed it?
No, see, I don't really think like that. Honestly, I just like, see, I get dressed for the day every day. So when people like try to put so much emphasis on what they're gonna wear to a certain event and stuff like that, I go through that when I wake up in the morning. Like I can wear, if I wanted to, if I felt like it, if I was in the mood, I could wear a tuxedo to practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, just if that's what I'm feeling like, just as that's where my mind is at that point in time. Because that's just how I feel. where I want to wear that day. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. So is there anyone in Hollywood that you think has pretty cool style? And that could be Hollywood, music, whatever.
Hollywood got style. See, it's tough for me because I don't really know people like that. I see them on TV and stuff like that, but I don't really know them as a person. So, and a lot of people have stylists too. So it's kind of like cheating. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and you can tell too because people don't wear the clothes the way they would normally wear it. Like when you have an eye for the clothes, when you have an eye or a vision for pieces and stuff like that, when you put them together, like I have pieces still in my closet from years ago that I haven't worn yet, just because I know how I want to wear it when I get the next piece that I'm looking for to go with that. You know what I'm saying? And I won't wear it till then. You know what I'm saying? So it's people who just go there and just buy clothes just because it's there or just because it's fashionable. It's just like, bro, you don't even know why you're buying it. You don't know what look you got to go with it, what vision you have, what like you don't see yourself in it. So how could you wear it?
Totally. So switching gears a little bit more to hoops. I've actually never asked you this, and it's something I've been dying to ask you. What did it feel like to be a McDonald's All-American, let alone you crushed it in the game? But what was that experience like?
Man, it was amazing, dude. Like when I was in high school, like growing up, I was watching DeJuan Wagner's and Taekwon Dean and stuff like that. So when I seen those dudes coming out and Jay Will, when I seen those dudes become high school All-Americans, that was always something I wanted to be. And it was just so happened that I was like a football player transitioning into basketball, and it was just like, you know, after I grew 6-7 inches in the summer, it just took off for me.
So speaking of football and NBA players, you know, moving over to football, if an NFL team needs to take a receiver, are they taking you or LeBron?
If they need a receiver, they're gonna take me. If they need a tight end, they're gonna take LeBron.
Good. That's a very PC answer. Good job with that.
Yeah. But I like defense anyway. I'm like a safety anyway.
Do you play free safety or strong safety?
I play free safety so I can roam, man.
That's what I played in high school.
Yeah, strong safety. You in the belly of the beast. I like to be able to roam, picks. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come across that middle. That's me for sure.
Love it. So back to that McDonald's All-American stuff real quick. You know, you committed initially to UNC, which is most people's dream, right? You did so well that your draft stock went through the roof, as it should have been. I mean, your career is incredible, and we'll get to that later. Was that a decision you made on your own, or did you seek advice from guys like Kobe or Kevin Garnett?
No, it's funny because after the game, Melo was at the game, and I was telling Melo about, you know, going to Carolina. He's like, yo, you going to Carolina? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, you should go pro, man, because them college coaches, man, they funny. So I was like, I always remember when he said that, and then I was just like, man, I was talking to a couple of guys at UNC before I committed, and they was just talking about how the stuff they was going through was, you know, as stressors of trying to get to the league and, you know, going practices, school, and everything else. And I was just like, man, you know what? This is best for me to go anyway, because that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. That's where my stepping stone is. Just where I wanted to go. So if I can get there sooner, then why not go now?
I love it. So you're an NBA champion. That definitely probably doesn't get old to hear. So what was that summer like? I mean, oh my God, I can't wait to hear.
Man, that shit was crazy because it's like, and I tell people all the time, like I really went everywhere with no tickets, like nothing. I went to football games, they have no tickets, and I went to like baseball games and no tickets. Everywhere I went, people were just looking like, yeah, come on in. I mean, restaurants didn't pay for food, and this is not even just like in Cleveland. This is everywhere. I'm in LA, I'm in Jersey, I'm in New York. Like people just showing so much love. So this was happening. I'm like, oh shit! Like it's literally the greatest shit ever.
So when you went home to Patterson for the first time, fresh off that ring, what was that like?
Nah, I'm from Lakewood.
Patterson, okay.
Yeah. I got roots in Patterson. Patterson.
Oh, that's right. I actually knew that. So how was that like, though?
But man, it was amazing, dog. Like my family, first of all, my family was really proud. Obviously, my parents and my kids and my wife and everybody was in at the game and everything like that. But when I went home to see my cousins and family friends, it's like it was so much love and respect, man. It was just like it made me so proud to do what I did, coming from where I came from.
Totally, totally. So, what is your takeaway from The Last Dance? I'm sure other people are asking you that. And on top of that, you know, I'm sure that it's only a matter of time before they do one with LeBron. And what would be a story that you would definitely tell that, you know, on that documentary about LeBron? So it's a two-part question. First, what did you think of the Jordan doc? And then what would be a story you would tell for sure, you know, about when LeBron has his documentary?
I mean, obviously, I mean, I was a big fan of Jordan. He's my goat.
Mm-hmm.
So the documentary itself, to seeing him back, you know, seeing him in practices and in the hotels and seeing that certain footage is something I always dreamt about as a kid, like envisioning what they were doing in those certain times and situations and stuff like that. So actually be able to be a professional and live and walk that life and see what it is and see what it's been is like. It was kind of breathtaking. It was kind of like eerie because I never really got the chance to see Mike being like me in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, damn, like he was just a normal dude, but he was amazing at being a normal dude. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like it was just super. So for Bron, I don't know. We got like every time we stepped out somewhere, it was like, you know, it was a movie. So it was just like we got so many memories as a team, and we go to dinner every city we went to. I mean, so it's constant. That's one thing I can't say. He did an amazing job at continuously creating memories for us. You know what I'm saying? Like everything we did as a team, and it was just like, you know, times you share as brothers and on it, you know, you can never replace because you're not with your family, you're not with your kids, you're not with your wife, you're not with your mother, your father, nobody like that. You just with your brothers. So to spend the time with them on the court as well as much as off the court, I mean, it was just making it that much sweeter.
Totally. So one thing I saw in the Jordan documentary was he always wanted to get the best out of his teammates, even if he had to ride them a little bit. He was just trying to bring out the best in them. Is that something that you saw in practice with LeBron too? Was he sort of on people, or was he more of a friend?
Brown is different. You know, Brown knows how to relate to people in different ways. Like he knew he could yell at me, because he knew I could take it. And certain people aren't like that. Some people don't have that mentality. And he was very good at figuring out what type of person you were to challenge you. It wasn't directed at, you know, a certain person or came off in a negative way. He may have said it differently than what he said it to me, because he knows if he said it to this person in a certain way,
they might not be built like that.
He wouldn't get the best out of them as a team. So when people think about, you know, Bron as being a team player, he's the ultimate team player because he makes the right play all the time. Whether that's coaching somebody in the game, playing the game with you, or bringing you along emotionally or psychologically, it helping the team. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's not just, oh, he's just out there getting assists and points and rebounds. No, he's doing a lot more than that.
Totally. So you personally have had some spectacular highlight plays. I mean, from the reverse alley-oop, there was some thunderous dunks. I can name some on the Nuggets, on the Cavs, on the Knicks. Was there ever one play where you kind of were like, oh, I can't wait to see this on SportsCenter Top 10 tonight? Like, what's your number one highlight?
You know, it's funny. I was talking to these dudes back at home, and my number one highlight is not even an NBA game. I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, and somebody threw it to me. Like I was on a fast break. It was a one-on-one fast break, but it was like I was in a football situation, so they threw a baseball pass to me.
Okay.
and and then I was at half court, and I tipped the ball because I knew the dude couldn't get it. So, but I knew I couldn't grab the ball either. So I tipped the ball, and not even trying to, the ball literally was all the way to the basket, and I caught it like an alley-oop to myself.
Nice.
And it was the greatest one. But as far as to me, but as far as the NBA, I would probably say my one in New York. I went baseline on Cleveland. I think that's my favorite.
I certainly remember that for sure.
Yeah.
So you were at my first fashion show ever, and you came looking like a rock star. I have pictures. I'll post it after this Instagram Live. And one thing I couldn't help but notice was you had a cigar in your mouth. Now, I'm a huge cigar guy. I consider myself an aspiring cigar aficionado. So is there a brand that you like as far as cigars? And then also, what type of social environments do you like to relax with a cigar?
Yeah, I like Monte Cristos. Monte Cristos, I think, is probably my favorite stick for sure. But mostly I smoke them on a golf course, honestly. When I'm on a golf course, and ironically, as crazy as it is, I got that shit from MJ, bro.
And now everyone sees it.
When I see him smoking cigars and shit, when playing golf and winning championships, that always been envisioned as a kid. That was my life. That was gonna be my life. So when I started playing golf, I started smoking cigars and won a chip. So I was like, keep it going. I gotta win some more chips, but shit.
Absolutely. I just smoked a Monte Cristo myself this weekend, and it was money. Yeah, it was nice. I had like a glass of wine with it. I was outside. I was visiting my parents with masks on. So we had some music playing. And to me, cigar smoking is really about the experience. It's about relaxing and sort of just like collecting your thoughts and just chilling a little bit, Yeah,
for sure. It's definitely, that's how the golf course is. You smoke a cigar, walking down the fairway, looking, hopefully your ball's in the fairway. It's just a good vibe. There's 9 times out of 10 the weather's nice. There's going to be a good breeze or whatever. So, and it's just peaceful.
Yep. So back to hoops for a minute. Who is the toughest guy to play against in pickup? Because I see you dominating sometimes in pickup in the summer. And then who's also the toughest guy in the league? For regular play.
It's kind of the same answer, honestly. KD. KD's probably the toughest.
It's because he's longer. What's the reasoning?
Yeah, pickup is just. Yeah, his body type is ridiculous, and he's just. He's what, 7 foot? Honestly, he hasn't taken probably his measurements in a while because they still list him at like 6'9" or whatever. But he's 7 foot. He's a 7 foot 2 guard. And it's just like he's a matchup nightmare all around. And him and Kyrie, I tell people all the time, like Kyrie is probably the best scorer I've ever seen because he can score left hand, he can score with his right hand, he can finish with his left hand, he can finish with his right hand, he can shoot mid range, he can shoot the 3-ball, he can shoot off the dribble, he can shoot catch and shoot, he shoot 90% from the free throw line, he can post up. There's nothing he can't do. Like literally nothing. So when I see KD, it's just literally a taller, more demigod-like player.
Totally. So you have, like we said before, won an NBA championship. You've dated pop stars like Rihanna. You have you've done so much in your career, even facing adversity. What advice would you give to the younger generation? A guy like Giannis or Devin Booker or Karl Anthony Towns, how would you tell them to get to the next level? What would your advice be?
Continue to fall in love with the game over and over again. Find ways to reinvent yourself within the game. Even though, no matter what challenges, a coach or whatever, media or whatever circumstance can be thrown at you to knock you off your shit, just stay true to who you are and keep falling in love with the game, man. That's the most important part. As long as you can remotely, continuously fall in love with the game of basketball over and over and over and over and over again, then you're good.
Love that answer. That's powerful right there. So I'm a New Yorker, you know that. And Madison Square Garden is definitely a magical place. Now, this answer could be this could be basketball related or completely not basketball related, because I'm sure you went to plenty of events at the Garden, being a Knick, that weren't related to hoops. What is your best Madison Square Garden memory?
Honestly, when I was a kid, my mom took me to see the circus, Ringling Brothers.
Okay,
When I
yeah.
was a kid, we took the train, and that shit was like, it was like Disney World for me, and like I don't even know how they got it all these animals and everything into this like arena and all this shit. Like I'm thinking like as a kid, like this shit is impossible. This is in the middle of New York City, like no way. So when sure enough, we get there, see all of that shit, and that shit was like, and then after that, then I really understood like, okay, so the Knicks play here, the Rangers play here. Like this is what it's like. Wow, I bet. Like I didn't really it started clicking for me with like arenas were and stadiums and stuff like that. So when you start, I think that's when my dad started really putting like, you know, trying to put that business cap mind of what the game was. You know what I mean? For not for what it was for me, but what it is at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. So I know you're out in LA now, which means you need a car. So what's your car game like? Do you have a dream car? And also, was there ever a moment, you know, when you first, you know, made your first fortune that, you know, you got a car and you just couldn't believe you had it?
Yeah, you know what? My Ferrari, had a Ferrari I got when I won a championship. And
Do you know the model?
It was an F12.
Woo! I know exactly what that is.
And unfortunately, I got rid of it because it was just a bad purchase for me because it was uncomfortable. I mean, I was 6'6", so getting down into a little small car like that for too long, it was just too. It wasn't worth it in that sense, you know. It wasn't worth it. So, and I wasn't driving the car as much, and I was just like, you know what, nah. And I got 4 girls, so every time I look at that car, I just look like, man, this is so much money they can have right now. So.
Oh, that's an amazing answer. So speaking of that, now that first of all, I'm not surprised that you're an amazing dad because you come from an amazing family. So your parents raised you right, and that's why, you know, you're an amazing dad. So what are we driving the kids around in? What do you have a car that fits everyone?
The kids, yep, they in the Denali truck, baby.
Okay.
They in the Yukon XL. We call it the bus. Pack them all up, and we get to going.
Nice. So, you know, when we used to hang out, I always used to be like, man, JR's jewelry game is as good, if not nicer, especially your wrist game.
Bro, used to be.
It's not anymore? I remember
you know what's funny, man? And it's crazy because my dad told me a long time ago, man. He's like, yo, you're going to wake up one day and none of this shit is going to mean nothing. You're going to just start realizing why the fuck did you do this? And then every day it's like, damn, why did I do this shit? You know? And it's just like, I could have spent this shit on being a member at 20 golf courses instead of just sitting here wearing a damn diamond bracelet. But it's the price you pay. You live and you learn, man.
How about watches? Is there anything like that you're proud of that you own that, you know, maybe like, let's say outside of sports, let's say you want to close a business deal and you need to go to a boardroom. Is there any like go-to watch you have?
No, not really. I mean, I got a Rolex. I got what was it? Sky Dweller. I had a few.
Is it gold or silver?
It's gold.
Nice.
I got matter of fact, I got bronze AP. You know what's funny? So I begged. This is a funny story. So I begged this dude forever. He has 9. I want to say 9 of his watches in the specific numbers. So he has like the first edition, the 6th edition, the 23rd edition, the 5th edition, like different numbers of his watches. So me and Double T are begging him for these watches. For one, we want them bad because not only are they his, but they're dope ass watches and they're hard as fuck to get.
Mm-hmm.
2, he has our numbers. He's got 5 and he's got 13. So he finally ends up. He's like, all right, bet I got y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a package deal, whatever. He finally ends up letting us get it. Lets me get it, and the first within the first 4 months, I lose the watch.
Oh,
Lose the watch.
no.
Looking for it everywhere, can't find it. Think the hotel person stole it, everything. Lo and behold, the shit was in my locker the whole time.
So do you still have it?
Still got it. Hell yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Sick, bro.
That's incredible. You know, speaking of being with your teammates and even being with your family, you've gotten to travel so much. You know, is there a favorite city as far as shopping when you want to sort of get some new drip?
New York for me. I mean, I can't say New York because New York is a home though. It's like right across. It's right there. So for me, I would say L.A. I guess.
Do you have any go-to stores?
LA has more streetwear, I would say. I think LA streetwear stores like are more like Fairfax and stuff like that, and then the boutique stores. I think they're more. I think they're more than any other city. Because I mean, even like Kith and stuff like that. Kith is what, Miami or whatever, but still, was it New York, Miami, LA? Yeah, I think LA.
Got it.
Chicago's pretty good too, Michigan Avenue.
I agree completely on that. So you obviously have played with so many greats. Do you have any Kobe Bryant story from your playing days?
Say it again. You cut in and out.
Do you have any Kobe Bryant story from your playing days, whether it's hanging out or playing ball?
Oh man. So it's funny because my rookie year, I'm about to play against Kobe for the first time. And Byron Scott is my coach, so he knows Kobe. So the whole time he's like, look, the first thing you're gonna do, and this is shoot around. You're gonna take 2 dribbles baseline. You're gonna pump fake, don't jump, and you're gonna try to spin around and shoot a turnaround. I'm like, all right, bet. He's like, but don't jump. Don't jump for this pump fake. It looked like he's gonna shoot, but don't jump. I'm like, all right, bet. He's like, if you jump, I'm gonna take you out. Mind you, he's saying it to me just how I'm saying it to you. So I'm like, damn, like, all right, I got you. First fucking play of the game, Kobe takes 2 dribbles baseline, pump fake. I fucking jump. I jump, foul him, end one. First thing, takes me out of the game. This is like 10 seconds into the game. So it was just like, when I tell you everything he did, like, was just so, you had to go for it. It's like, because he could actually shoot this shit. Fuck that it could go in or not. He's going to shoot this shit. And if he's going to shoot it, the most chances it's going to go in. And you don't want it to be on you. Because they're going to keep showing that shit over and over and over and over again. And sure enough, from New Orleans to Denver, shit, they showed this motherfucker score on me in Cleveland, and he barely was playing.
It's crazy. He was incredible, that's for sure.
He was amazing, man. Kobe was a bad motherfucker. One day I was in this is when I was playing really well when I was in New York. I was off for 6 man. I was at Philippe's, and Kobe was in the back, and I walked past, but it was like you know, it was like dim in there, so like the little awning, you couldn't really. I didn't think you could really make it out to see who it was. 'Cause I didn't know he was in there. And he called my name, and I came back there. He was back, sure enough, back there holding court. He had his big ass tables, just dropping knowledge and shit. And I was just sitting there in awe because this whole time, people have always made it seem like he was just some asshole, and, you know what I mean? Just like some jerk or arrogant dude. And he was just showing me so much love and respect. And this is after we had battled it out in Denver and everything. So for me, I was just looking at shit like, damn. He gave me his number and everything. Whenever I needed to call him, text him, whatever. And I mean, I didn't reach out as much as I should have. I've reached out on a few occasions, and sure enough, he hit me right back too. So it just like it's crazy because he was just like the type of dude he was perceived to be at one point as a player. It almost determined who he was as a person. And then fortunately, he was one of those people who got a chance to be able to see the different side of him as opposed to whatever everybody portrayed to him as just as being an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Not many people get the opportunity.
Wow, that's a very powerful story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, switching gears from basketball now, if I'm going into J.R. Smith's phone, what is your favorite iPhone or iPad app that you use? It could be for training or for your kids or whatever. What's the most used app?
Sister was calling.
No worries. I was wondering what your like favorite or most used app was, and it could be something for sports, it could be something for your kids, whatever.
App, probably YouTube.
Okay. What are we watching on YouTube?
My kids, man. My kids be going off phone, man. You know, actually, FaceTime, bro. FaceTime now, because my kids, bro, they all they want to do is FaceTime their grandparents, FaceTime their mom, FaceTime everybody, my friends, like, call so-and-so, call so-and-so, call so-and-so. And mind you, my daughter's 1. So, like, one of them is 1. The other one's 3. So they're just nonstop on the phone trying to look at YouTube or FaceTime somebody. I'm like, yo, y'all is out of control. And they know the passwords to your phone. This shit is crazy. You 1 year old, you know my password. And my wife don't even know my password. How you know my password?
That is funny. Kids are smart, that's for sure.
It's crazy.
Amazing. So when eventually it does come time for you to move on past the game, do you have a dream collaboration? It could be, you know, in basketball or completely outside basketball, like Warren Buffett or something.
Yeah, man, I'm on this gaming shit right now, bro. I just opened up this gaming company.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get, actually trying to start, I'm starting a foundation for a lot of kids in inner cities don't really understand or don't know that you can get scholarships right now to go play video games. Like, there's schools right now that'll pay you to go play video games. It's like, and people don't know that. And people just looking at their kids like, oh, nah, you can, you know, get off the game. All you do is sit there and play the game in a negative manner. And there's so many kids, 10, 13 years old, $20,000, $30,000 playing Fortnite. $100,000 playing Fortnite. What are you talking about, Mom? We good for a minute. Like, you ain't got to offer Fortnite, bro.
Are you nice in 2K?
I'm cool on 2K. I'm not gonna say I'm nice. I'm straight. There's some of the dudes out there that's just unbelievable with this shit.
Well, if you play in NBA 2K, Grungy Gentleman closer are now available at Swags in the neighborhood. So you got to rep.
Oh, no, I got that. No, for sure. I'll be in there. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
I got that. For
Shout
sure.
out to Ronnie for that. That's for sure.
Yeah, Ronnie be looking out. Ronnie definitely be looking out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, where is your favorite upscale and just regular place to eat? I heard that you even like chopped cheese. It could be anything, you know, whatever you like.
You said my favorite upscale spot to eat?
And then also like a regular place.
Oh, all right, regular spot is this taco truck downtown LA, man. This shit is fire, bro. And it's this Chinese spot downtown in Jersey. We call it Maple and Chancellor because it's on Maple and Chancellor in Newark. So that should be rocking. But upscale spot, I would say Mastro's.
Sure.
I can't even say Mastro's no more because I went plant-based too. So I've been going back and forth going plant-based and trying to kick steak out and all that stuff for good. So I'm just trying to stay on that shit. But my new spot is Crossroads though.
Okay.
Crossroads.
Awesome. So what is the biggest difference between playing in New York versus playing in a place like Cleveland?
I mean, for me, it was home. I was right there. Being home that was my biggest thing. So many people got different situations when they come to New York because they're not from the area, and on top of the bright lights and the city and the energy, they struggle with that. So me being from the area, I'm already equipped with that. I already, so um, for me, it was just like being home and going back and forth and running around and trying to be Superman and try to be there for everybody. It was just taking it and play basketball and focus on my career. It was too much for me at the time. So it got to be too much. So that was I think that was the biggest part for me.
Got it. So moving to style, when you were in New York, you got to go to a bunch of runway shows. Did you learn a lot during those experiences? Is there any runway show that sticks out? I know we've been to Robert Geller and Montclair together and a bunch of others, I think.
Just the creativity behind it. It's not like when you see a fashion show that's like before, it was just literally people walking down the aisle and walking back. Now it's actually a presentation. It's different. Like it's people got the different music, people got the different vision that they want you to see and feel and interact, or they want to take you to that place where the vision of the clothes came from. So it was more of a presentation now to me than when I initially started going. So it's definitely transcended so many different people and minds. And I mean, you could think. I mean, before. I mean, I could say what Stat really kicked it off. Kick down that door. But before, people like that, him and Bra, athletes wasn't going to
runway
fashion shows, runway shows, and shit like that. We wasn't going. We was just going off the typical, whatever. So where it's at now, people are going to fashion show Milan, Paris, and I see Vic doing all this shit. I'm like, yo, bro, that's what it's about, because you're supposed to kick that door down and push the culture forward. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. It was crazy. When I was an editor before I became a designer, I actually was the one getting a lot of these athletes into the runway shows. Now they're the whole front row. So it's wild, the evolution. So sticking with style, how serious do you take style with your golf game?
Oh, it's real serious.
I knew that was coming. So talk to me a little bit about that. Cleats, your pants, your polos, what's popping?
Yeah. See, I got polos, I got sweaters, I got pullovers, I got vests, jackets, pants, shorts, fucking denim pants, wool pants for the winter. I got so many different pair of Nike shoes, Jordan golf shoes, bro. It's tough. It's tough. It's dope because it's like for me, but you would be surprised, like, cause all my clothes and shit is like super Caddyshack type shit. Like it's like it ain't nothing crazy. It ain't nothing like, it's nothing people would think. When people would think I would look like a 70-year-old person out there golfing. It's like, yo, like, and sure enough, be out that bitch fucking people up.
Listen, it's the person who carries it, not the clothes that wear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Completely agree. So what has been like, I don't know if it's a trio or what's the best group of people you've ever golfed with? Like, is it with, your friends or NBA players, or is it even golf pros? Because I've seen you do that too, which is incredible.
Man, I would say when I play with the golf pros, it's every time I feel like a kid in a candy store. I feel like I'm watching, the MJs of my generation as a kid, because I envy them on what they can do with their talent, and me not being able to do that is just like frustrating as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but it's different because I can hit a good drive and 1 out of 18 holes and be down there with those guys. They ain't never gonna be able to dunk a basketball.
Is there any people that you just like loved playing with? Anyone specific you want to call out?
My man Justin Thomas, him and Ricky Fowler, that was dope. My man Brooks is cool. Brooks Koepka, uh, Bubba Watson.
Wow, you play with Bubba Watson? That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Hell yeah, it was all cool as hell, man. It was all cool as hell. Um, what's my man? Rory, he hooked me up a lot.
What?
Yeah, courses and shit. Yeah, they be looking out, bro. They show a lot of love, man.
Any favorite golf course?
Really, favorite golf course, Pine Valley, dog. Pine Valley in Jersey, that shit OD, bro. Crazy.
Did you ever get to go anywhere outside of Jersey that you also loved?
Oh hell yeah, LACC is dope. Fisher's Island in upstate New York is crazy. San Francisco Golf Club is crazy. Uh, what's it? What's it? I always remember a Blue Jack Tiger spot down in Texas.
I know what that is. That's
I'm
crazy.
I'm thinking I might go. I'm thinking I might Jordan spot down there at Grove 23. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. So I have
Bel
two more.
Air,
Sorry.
yeah, it's just, they got some dope spots. Riviera's down the street, Bel Air's up the street, Sherwood. There's some dope tracks, man.
So I have two last hoops questions before we wrap up because you've been amazing so far. Thank you. One is, who has been the best coach you've ever played for? Is there anyone that you're still close with now?
Yeah, I still talk to most of my coaches, man. T. Lou was amazing. T. Lou was dope. Coach Woodson was incredible. I love him. I didn't really get a chance to know Dan Tony because when I got there he had left as soon as I got there, but he was cool I ain't had no problems with him when I was there. Byron Scott is cool. My high school coach though, he the best coach I ever had. Dan Hurley, he the coach of UConn now. He's the best coach I ever had for sure.
Awesome. So what has been your favorite arena to play in that's just a wow moment? And then what arena do you perform the best in consistently?
The best one is the Mecca. Ain't no better than New York. That's when I played there the first time, especially as a Knick. It brought chills to me because that was my dad, my mom favorite team forever.
Love
So
that.
when that happened, that shit was just like it was chilling.
And where do you play consistently the best at? Is there a specific arena where you always know you're going to put up some numbers?
Consistently. I feel like Dallas got the best shooting arena.
Okay.
Like I don't know why. I feel like that to suit my eye. I feel like Dallas is probably one of the better shooting arenas.
Very cool. So this is the last question, JR. So thank you again. Who has been one player that you haven't played with on an official team that you wish you could have played with?
Kobe.
Sure.
It's crazy because when I went to China, I had the opportunity. When I came back, it was between the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
So Kobe was working out with Grover and stuff, and I had the opportunity. He had texted me and whatnot, talking about, man, I need you, I need some help, whatever. And Melo was pretty much saying the same thing, and nobody like Doc had never like really reached out to me like that. So at the time, it was just like it made more sense for me to go home to play in New York. But that's one thing I wish I'd entertained going to play with LA.
Quickly, just because I forgot to ask you about China. What was that experience like? Because I'm sure it was a culture shock, and I'm sure you probably also learned a lot.
Yeah, man. I finally understood what it was to carry a professional team or whatever, or quote unquote league or team as a man. When I was a kid, it was easy because the coach did all the pretty much all the you know demanding of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So when it was finally like really put on my shoulders to pretty much then win every game, it was just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need this motherfucker right here to hit this shot. I need you to play defense right here. I need you to feel confident. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And for me, it was always what I could give to somebody else to, you know what I mean, to get us over that as far as looking at it as like a team. And that shit taught me a lot. It opened up my mind to the mid-range game a lot more. I got so much better and more comfortable off the dribble, shooting shots, off the dribble, playing in the mid-range. So it really helped me out a lot. It was probably one of the biggest blessings in disguise that happened for me.
You know, I got to react to something that just happened in the comments. Throughout the whole conversation, there's been a lot of NBA players that have been commenting. Is there anyone that you kind of mentor or, you know, really keep in touch with and kind of help them?
I mean, I try to help whoever asks, honestly. I got a couple kids back home. Like Miles Powell, that's like my little brother, man. He played a year and all of that. He always reach out and ask questions and stuff like that because he don't know, and I respect him for that because I always told him, if you ask me, I'm gonna give you the real, regardless if you like it or not. Like, I'm gonna give you the real. And he was like, even going with his agent situation, I was like, bro, whatever. Like, you can't. In certain situations, I understand you need advice and stuff like that, but in certain shit, you can't ask nobody because what's best for me ain't best for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to go with Nike because I feel like Nike is this, that, and that, and that, just because it ain't that for you, you might feel like Adidas is that. You know what I'm saying? So you don't go off of me. You got to go off of what you like in certain instances. Now, as far as advice on making those decisions, I can help you with those, and I try to give them the best of that as I can because so many times, so many instances, I didn't have that and I needed that. So as much as I can, I try to help.
You've been amazing. Actually, I got one teeny quick thing. How often do you wear that ring? Because I mean, that must be the
it's funny. I never wear it, bro. I never wear it. I never wear it. I gave it to my dad, man. When I won that shit, it was just like I felt like that was like the ultimate achievement that we did, and for me, I was just like more than anything, I wanted him to have it than me.
That is the best ending to an interview and appropriate for Father's Day coming up I've ever heard. So you've been amazing. JR, if you could stay 10 seconds while I close, we're going to end it together. Please follow JR at Team Swish. He is just incredible. And guys, he is way more than just a hooper. I mean, he's a damn good one, but he is really, really well versed in lifestyle and especially with style. So thank you so much, JR. You've been amazing.
Man, I appreciate you.
And I'll speak to you soon, buddy.
Later, bro.
Later.